Craig Kimbrough, Positive Guru. As always, glad to have you along for our 10 minutes of meditation, metaphysics, miracles. Today is Easter. People all over the world are celebrating. And of course, there's a whole story that goes along with Easter, and pretty much what most that celebrate Easter would be celebrating is Jesus raising from the dead. And for me, what I always took from it, what I took for it in my after I was 18 or so, what I began to take from it was, because I used to, I always say this, I used to always wonder why was Easter the big day and not Christmas, and but that was the day that he rose from the dead, and to me it sort of symbolizes us being beyond the body, us being spiritual beings, not being purely physical beings. Also symbolizing that God is real. There's more to this world than we know. It's not just what we see on the surface. What we see on the surface is that people are, when they go, they're lifeless, and that's the end of them. But this was more. This was surviving afterwards, coming back. And I always said, well, I guess that's why Easter is the big one, because that's the big thing, is being beyond mortality. And as I always say, Jesus said that these things I do, you can do in greater. My teacher used to say, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and every day. Jesus is you. Jesus is me. Jesus is us. I opened up the current version of 30 Days of Metaphysics and Miracles in Your Life this morning to say, what will be my message for the day on Easter? And the page I opened up to said, when God chooses to express himself, he's not too particular what color suit he wears for the occasion. Well, in that occasion, God showed up as Jesus walking the face of the earth. And everything that those who were there saw, according to the story, they saw as God coming to them. And miracles were seen. And when I opened up to this page, I said, when God chooses to express himself, he's not too particular what color suit he wears for the occasion. I remembered that God is omnipresent. And God has shown up in many ways to many different people. I started reading the page in the new version that I have here on computer. And this is what I read. I just recently completed this, but this is what I read. I was riding on the freeway. Actually, I read this last week. So I won't even read it. I'll just tell the story very briefly. But when I saw the page, I was remembering what was written on it. And it was a story about when I was going through some stuff, when I was moving my son out of one school system into another. And I really felt bad about it. Not only that, we were moving homes. We were moving homes to get to the new school system. But he didn't have any friends in the new school system. He was leaving all his old friends, not just where he lived, but also in the school. So when he'd go to school this next term, he wouldn't have any new friends. And I was really feeling bad about it. And I was asking God, am I making the right decision? I wouldn't have felt bad if it was a no choice type of thing, but I was making the choice to uproot him. And I was going around the ramp on the freeway, and I had tears in my eyes, and I was just like, man, am I doing the right thing? And as I was turning on that ramp, and we were moving from West Bloomfield to Farmington Hills, as I was turning on the ramp, I saw this water tower I'd never seen before. The water tower was saying, "Live Farmington," and I'm looking like, man, I never seen that before as I'm going around the corner. And then I could see more words around the other side of the water tower as I was curving. I said, well, what's the rest of the words say? And the rest of the words said, "Love Farmington." And in that moment, I was blown away. I had tears in my eyes since I was so upset about what was going on with my son and wondering about was I doing the right thing. And I was asking God, you got to let me know. And right as I'm asking this, I'm seeing this. And I said, oh my God, God was talking to me. God was telling me, live Farmington. We were going to Farmington schools. Actually, it said live Farmington Hills. We were moving to Farmington Hills. It said live Farmington Hills, love Farmington Hills. I said, man, we're moving to Farmington Hills. I got, okay, we got to love this. We got to embrace it. And everything from that moment just worked out. One, I took this as my message from God. This was God coming to me. When God chooses to express himself, he doesn't care what color suit he wears for the occasion. God can come through a sign on a water tower. That sign made me lean into the whole process, made me get enthused about it, made me send him to summer camp in the same area so he would have friends in the school when he came out from Farmington Hills. And it worked out beautifully. And everything changed. Everything changed with him in school. The one schools, they were complaining about him and there's behavior problems. Other schools, they were raving about him, saying, oh, you're his dad? Oh my God, he's so wonderful. As I look back, I know that was God. God can show up in many ways. God can show up through a sign. I've had times when I was asking God, you got to let me know about something, and I meditated. And then as soon as I walk in a place, a person is talking about my answer. That was God. When God chooses to express himself, he does not care what color suit he wears. That's why Jesus said, these things I do, you can do and greater, because he was saying it ain't just about me, it's about you. It's about God. Do not limit God. So as we move forward on this Easter, choose to not limit God and ask, how is God showing up in my world? Think about the times when something happened and you knew it was beyond a shadow of a doubt that this was from a higher power. This was special information. This was too much to be a coincidence. Remind yourself that is God. And now ask yourself, am I living according to what I saw? Am I moving forward with the information that God gave me when God came to me specifically to talk to me? And then live it and be open to it. Look for God. Look for the universe to show up. When you look, as you seek, you shall find. You look for God, God shows up. Now, how are you going to be God? How are you going to allow God to come through you in somebody else's life? How are you going to allow that to happen? This is a big part of what we are here for. We are here to serve. And when we do it, it feels so good. When we do it, we're in our proper place. God is giving you talents. God is giving you inclinations. God is giving you ideas so that the universe can come through you for other people. There's been times that people have told me things that made me realize that was God coming through. They told me how much it helped in their lives. I've had people where I know that was God. When they showed up, I said, no, that was too much of a coincidence. I was waiting for this. I was watching a movie the other day, and the person in the movie said, a miracle is when something should not happen, but it does anyway. There have been times when things, no way on earth it should happen, but it's happened. That was God. Be in your place. Do your best Ask, how do you want me to serve? How do you want me to be? Do it conscientiously, and you will find that God is coming through you. Look for God, and then allow God to work through you. That's what this is about. God is sitting back, but yet God is inside of this whole thing and working throughout. This person helping this person, and this person helping that person, and this one showing up in just the nick of time when it should not have happened. And God works through our talents and those things that we love and those ways in which we love to express ourselves. The more you are in unison with who you are meant to be, the more God can come through you. And the more you are open and the more you are looking for God, the more you will see the miracles show up. Easter is about miracles. It's about a resurrection. Isn't that nothing but a miracle? Every day is Easter when you approach it in the right spirit. I'm Craig Kimbrough, Positive Guru. Until next time, peace and blessings.
Resurrection Sunday.
Rest,